1. The Salvage mission. My name is Aaron Cole, and before everything changed, I was just a space salvage pilot. In the year 2189, humanity had spread across dozens of star systems. Space travel was common, colonies were everywhere, and unfortunately, so were wrecks. Ships disappeared all the time. Pirates, mechanical failures, cosmic storms. And where there were wrecks, there were people like me, salvagers. My job was simple: find abandoned spacecraft, recover valuable technology, and sell whatever I could legally claim. Most missions were boring. Floating metal, broken engines, sometimes frozen cargo. But the mission that changed my life started with a distress beacon coming from a forbidden region of space. The Vega exclusion zone. No one was supposed to go there. But distress beacons meant salvage rights. And salvage rights meant money. A lot of money. So I ignored the warnings and flew straight into the darkness. 2. The strange escape pod. The exclusion zone was quiet. Too quiet. My ship's sensors detected dozens of debris fragments drifting in orbit around a shattered cruiser. The vessel was enormous, far larger than any human ship. Alien. My pulse quickened. Alien technology sold for fortunes. I carefully guided my ship through the wreckage field. Then something caught my eye. A small object drifting away from the destroyed cruiser. An escape pod. But it wasn't human design. It was sleek, black, and covered in glowing symbols. Life signs appeared on my scanner. One survivor. Against my better judgment, I pulled the pod into my cargo bay. "Let's see who you are," I muttered. The hatch slowly opened with a hiss of cold air. Inside was a girl. She looked maybe 16. Pale skin. Long silver hair. Strange violet eyes. Definitely not human. She was unconscious. And bleeding. I stared at her, stunned. I had just discovered an alien. Alive. 3. A dangerous secret. I carried the girl into my ship's medical chamber. Her body temperature was low, but stable. Alien biology was unpredictable, so I ran basic scans without touching anything too complicated. Her anatomy was surprisingly similar to humans. 2 arms, 2 legs. But the internal structure was far more advanced. Her cellular regeneration was incredible. Even the wound on her side was already healing. But one thing worried me. A small metallic device embedded near her collarbone. It blinked faintly. A tracking beacon. Someone was searching for her. I stared at the girl. "Who are you?" I whispered. As if answering me, her eyes suddenly opened. Bright violet. Alert. And terrified. 4. The girl who didn't trust humans. She jumped up instantly, backing into the corner of the room. Her gaze scanned every detail of the ship in seconds. Then she spoke, but not in any language I recognized. A stream of musical alien sounds filled the room. I raised my hands calmly. "Hey, easy. I'm not here to hurt you." She stared at me carefully. Then something surprising happened. The small device in her collarbone glowed brighter. A translation system. Her voice changed. "You are human." "Yes." Her eyes narrowed. "Why did you rescue me?" "Good question." I shrugged. "You were dying in space. That seemed like a bad situation." She watched me silently. "Humans are not known for mercy." "Well," I said, "you clearly haven't met many of us." For a moment, the tension eased. Then her expression darkened. "You must take me somewhere safe." "Safe from who?" Her answer sent a chill through me. "My enemies." 5. The hunters. I was about to ask more questions when my ship alarm screamed. "Warning! Multiple incoming vessels." I rushed to the cockpit. 3 warships had appeared on the radar. Not human ships. Alien. And they were closing fast. "Please tell me those aren't your friends," I said. The girl appeared behind me. Her face had gone pale.
No.
Great. Laser fire streaked past my ship. They weren't wasting time. They want you dead? I asked. She shook her head slowly.
No.
They want to capture me. Even worse. My little salvage ship wasn't built for combat, but it was fast. Very fast. I slammed the engines to full power and shot toward the nearest asteroid field. The alien ships followed, and they were gaining. 6, the escape. Asteroids spun wildly around us as I weaved between them. Massive rocks slammed into each other, sending debris everywhere. The alien ships fired again. Explosions lit the darkness. Hold on, I shouted. The girl gripped the chair tightly. You are insane. Occupational hazard. Another blast rocked the ship. One of my engines died. That was bad. Very bad. But then I saw something ahead. A massive asteroid cluster with a narrow gap. Too small for large ships, but just big enough for mine. Hope you trust me, I said. I absolutely do not. Fair enough. I pushed the engines to maximum and aimed straight for the gap. The ship screamed as we squeezed through the narrow passage. Behind us, one of the enemy ships tried to follow. It slammed into the rocks and exploded. The other 2 stopped. Too big to continue. I finally slowed the ship. We had escaped. 7, the girl's identity. After the chaos settled, I finally turned to her. All right, I said. Start talking. She hesitated. Then she said something I didn't expect. You saved my life today. Yeah, well, that seems to be my thing lately. She studied me carefully. You are different from the humans I was warned about. That's probably a compliment. Then she straightened slightly. My name is Lyriel. Nice to meet you.
She paused.
Then continued. I am the daughter of the ruling dynasty of the Celestari Empire. I blinked. So, basically, yes. I am a princess. I leaned back slowly. Of course she was. Because rescuing a random alien teenager would have been too simple. 8. The farewell. Lyriel stayed on my ship for 2 days while we traveled toward neutral territory. During that time, we talked a lot. About Earth. About her empire. About the war her people were fighting. Apparently powerful enemies wanted control of her royal bloodline, which explained the hunters. When we finally reached a safe system, a Celestari fleet arrived to escort her home. Massive warships surrounded my tiny salvage vessel. Before leaving, Lyriel stood at the airlock. You risked your life to save mine, she said. It was nothing. It was not nothing. She removed a small crystal pendant from her neck. This is a symbol of my house. She placed it in my hand. If we ever meet again, you will be recognized as a friend of the Celestari. I smiled. I'll keep that in mind. Then she stepped onto her ship and disappeared from my life. 10 years later. 10 years passed. I went back to my normal life. Salvage missions. Cargo runs. Quiet space travel. Sometimes I wondered what happened to Lyriel, but I assumed she had forgotten about the human who rescued her. Then one day, everything changed. A massive alien fleet appeared above Earth. Celestari warships. The entire planet panicked. Military forces prepared for war. But the fleet didn't attack. Instead, one message was broadcast across the planet. The Celestari Queen requests an audience with the human known as Aaron Cole. My name. Broadcast to the entire world. 10. The reunion. They transported me to the flagship. The ship was enormous. Beautiful alien architecture surrounded me. Guards escorted me into a massive throne chamber. And there she was, sitting on a glowing throne. The Celestari Queen. She looked older now, stronger, more powerful, but I recognized her instantly. Lyriel. She stared at me,
Silent.
studying my face. Then suddenly her eyes widened. Shock filled her expression. Wait. She stood slowly. I remember now. Her voice trembled slightly. You must be the one who saved me years ago. I smiled. Took you long enough. 11. The Queen's Gratitude. The room erupted with whispers among the alien nobles. The Queen walked down from her throne. You saved my life when I was powerless, she said softly. I never forgot. Then why the dramatic entrance? I asked. Her lips curved into a small smile. Because I wanted the entire galaxy to know who my savior was. The nobles bowed their heads respectfully.
Toward me.
A simple salvage pilot. It felt surreal. Then Lyriel spoke again. You once saved me. Today, I return the favor. 12. A new future. The Celestari Empire formed an alliance with Earth that day.
Trade.
Technology. Protection. Humanity entered a new era among the stars. And somehow, I ended up right in the middle of it. Lyriel often invited me to visit her palace.
Sometimes we talked about the past.
Sometimes we laughed about the chaotic escape through the asteroid field. But one night she said something unexpected. If you had not saved me that day, my empire would have fallen. I looked at her. You give me too much credit. She shook her head.
No.
Then she smiled gently. You changed the fate of an empire without even realizing it. I laughed. Not bad for a salvage pilot. And every time I looked at the alien queen who once sat terrified in my cargo bay, I remembered something important. Sometimes the smallest choices save entire galaxies.